I'm Will, and this is Will's Tarot Path. I wanted to show you a couple of decks. Excuse me. The dust here has been horrible. As you know, I live in Phoenix. And so when the dust is kicked up like this, we're in our monsoon season, which means we'll start having sandstorms at night. But that's a good thing because after the sand blows through, we get the rains, and that's always really nice. We only get about 8 inches a year, so we always look forward to this time of year when we start seeing some actual rainfall. But that being said, if I call for something, you'll just have to um, please forgive me, overlook it. I'm only human. But I wanted to show you a couple of decks I found, and I've done this a few times already. I did one trade with Marilyn at Maryland's Tarot Take, and one with Simon at the Hermit's Cave on some rare decks that I had come across at resale shops. Now, these aren't thrift shops or charity shops as you would think of them. The shops that I go to are metaphysical shops that buy and sell used decks or trade and swapped decks for credits. So if I have decks that I get tired of using or don't have just didn't click with for whatever reason, then I can go to one of these shops and trade them in for a dollar amount, and I can use that dollar amount to purchase either another used deck or a new deck. And I wanted to talk about that because I don't want people to think that I'm just lucky. Every time I introduce a deck that I've come across that's out of print or rare or whatever, that it's by some, stroke of the wheel of fortune that only I am privy to. What I did just now before I came on was I wanted to look up some numbers so I had it in my head. But I do live in Phoenix. I live in the southern part of the city limits. But Phoenix is in what's known as the Valley of the Sun. And if you look at it on a map, topographical map, you'll see that around the valley there are mountains on every side of it. And any direction you choose to leave the valley, you are driving at an incline up and going up in elevation. So even though I live in the desert and it's extremely hot now and you have to be careful of the dust and all that, just know that I am about a 3 hours drive from temperatures that are 30 degrees cooler. In the wintertime, we have spring-like weather, and we're about an hour to an hour and a half drive to areas where there is snow and skiing and ski slopes, and so it's actually a very nice place to live. So that being said, back to the fact I live in Phoenix. Phoenix is in the surrounding area. It's a population of just over 5 million people. But along with Phoenix, there are 19 other cities and municipalities around us, and they've all grown into each other, so we are really like a megapolis. You can't drive out of Phoenix and into one of our neighboring cities, Mesa, Gilbert, Chandler, wherever, and think you've actually left Phoenix. Sometimes you don't even know until you see a sign that says welcome to Mesa or welcome to Chandler or welcome to Tempe. The city has just grown so much into each other. So each one of these, there are 1, 2, 3 shops in Phoenix I can go to that do this. There are 2 shops, one in Gilbert and one in Mesa I can go to. There's one in Glendale, the city of Glendale I can go to. And these are all within driving distance in the Valley of the Sun where I live. Easy access on the freeways. Now, the most northern store to me is the one that I really like a lot. So I go when I know I have, more than just one transaction to do. I go when I'm sort of collected some things and I'm on a mission. And that one takes me about 45 minutes to drive to. But still, all in under an hour, usually within 20 to 30 minutes. And so I'm fortunate to live where I do, to have this many options of shops that are not thrift stores where people are just throwing away things. There are shops where people go to buy and swap and sell and trade either used or new items, books, everything. Usually not clothing. It's usually not in that type of thing. It's usually media, books, magazines, albums. Um, there's there's a few of them that do have a toy section, but it's the collectible ones. It's the ones that are the Star Wars from 1982 or something. So that's where I find these. And I do get lucky, but it's because of where I live. If I could live anywhere else in the world, probably I would not have this much access. But I want to turn the camera now, and we'll go over my recent finds. Is 2 decks, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm back. So the first deck I want to show you is the Celtic Dragon Tarot. This is by Conway. Lisa Hunt is the artist. It does not have a book or a box. It came in this velvet pouch. I will replace that at some point. I'll either find another pouch, make a pouch, or find a box that I like for it. I did look around a little bit trying to see if I could locate a book for it. I cannot. So I might actually just reach out to the publisher. I think is it Lulin, and see if they have anything PDF they can send me. But this is one I had not seen. I'm not big into dragons, but then when I saw this one, I really loved it. I love these backs. To me, most of the time, backs are backs. I can take them or leave them. Some I just don't like. Some really stick out to me, and I think this is really well done because it's simple, but yet intricate at the same time. And I love this sort of Celtic knot in the center made up of dragon tails. If you can see these dragons, the wing and the dragon tail loops around. And so I really think that was very clever. Cardstock is really nice matte. It's not even, I don't even think it's partially glossy. It's a really nice, it's smooth. It's not satin, it's just a really nice matte. So I'm not quite sure if these, I think these are in order, because I think I went through and put them in order, but it's not going to start with the major arcana. But here we have the Ace of Wands. And this color palette is really beautiful. I'll hold it a little bit closer so you can see the blues. But how that blue sticks out against that white, maybe sort of alabaster, is really beautiful. But the Ace, the potential, the Two of Wands, controlling the energy, 3, and the colors are actually a little bit more vibrant in person than they are showing up on camera. But I think if you're familiar with Lisa Hunt's artwork, then she has a wonderful use of color. The character really stands out here with the dragon, the balcony. I don't know that I will actually use this one too much. It's one of those decks where I really like the artwork and the way the dragons are drawn, sort of, and the characters and the imagery really speaks to me of what I see when I read Lord of the Rings, or when I think of what's the name of the book series name? Westeros, the Iron Throne. It'll come to me in a minute. George R.R. Martin's books. I read those books, and I did watch the series, but the books oh my god, so much detail in the books that are just left out. And then the movie, I don't mean the movie, but the series at the end, just sort of got way ahead of the books, and then it just kind of went off to do its own thing to end the series. And I, along with a billion other people, are waiting for the last book to come out to find out how George R. Martin wants to end it. I'd say the first couple of seasons were really good, maybe 3. Followed the book closely, but didn't have all the detail. And some of that detail you really needed to understand the story and the lore. But Lisa Hunt has a way of drawing these sort of fantastical characters. Now, this is a deck, because I did a video on diversity in decks. This deck is one that does not have diversity in it. And I am not against diversity. I actually really enjoy it when it fits. I'm going to do another video on a deck that's inclusive coming up soon. I'm going to do a walkthrough and my viewpoints on Next World Tarot. Yeah, Next World Tarot. To sort of do a follow-up on my talk on diversity. But in that first talk I say, well, when you're talking about world traditions, and then you have a deck that's called the Celtic Dragon Tale, I struggle with the idea that it should have variations and multiple peoples from various parts of the world in it if it's truly a Celtic deck, because the Celtic people are from a very small part of the world. The reverse of that would be if there were, and there are a couple, they're called African Tarot or something, which there is an African American Tarot, I think, that focuses on culture sort of in the Western sense of the US. So it's more of a modern day take on life, and that makes sense to me. But I wouldn't necessarily need to see Caucasians or Asians, or I wouldn't be looking for that diversity in the deck. Now, I could certainly include it because there are plenty of people that are mixed race. I have students that have parents from various backgrounds. And you see both the parents and the child, and it's beautiful. But if a deck is targeting one specific audience or group of people, like the Celts, then this deck, I would say, stays true to that. And I don't see that as a big issue, as long as it's not done in a way that says that, oh, well, tarot is only for this group, or tarot is only for that group, or tarot is, if it's sort of a single focused group of people for a reason because of that culture, then I see no problem with it. It would be as if there were, and there may be, I'm not sure yet, I probably should look it up, but it would be as if there were an Ethiopian deck, which actually has, if someone ever watches this that's from the area of Ethiopia, the empire of Ethiopia was never colonized. Its kingdom lasted for thousands of years. Some of the earliest churches were built in Ethiopia, and it is a tradition. Christianity is the tradition there that has gone for almost the entirety, predating the Catholic Church even. And then when they started having councils, they didn't agree, and so the Ethiopians, now there's the Ethiopian Church, because they never changed. And it's beautiful. If you ever have the opportunity to see an Ethiopian Christian practices, absolutely beautiful. But if there was someone from Ethiopia that wanted to create a tarot deck based on that history, I wouldn't expect to see Caucasians in it, or unless it were some sort of like world card where there was some sort of trade going on, or there would be people popping up. I wouldn't call them tokens, but like maybe because there was global trade going on forever, and so people of all races were coming together and visiting and knowing each other, and uh, treating each other as social status equals in a lot of cases that weren't carried over into the future. Um, and so if that were to sort of be the case, then so be it. But I wouldn't necessarily see a need to there aren't enough of these kind of people in this deck. Well, no, it's not a deck based on a global sense. It's based on this one particular spot on this globe, and that's where the people you see in these cards are. And I have no problem with that. So I didn't mean to go off on that tangent, but if you've been watching my videos, every now and then I do go through a tangent. Because what happens is that I don't need to sit here and go, Nine the Hermit. I mean, you can see it. It's a really cool hermit card. Dragon in his lair with his books. The wheel. So you don't need me reading every card to you, so I tend to show the card and talk. And what struck me on this one was, I wonder if someone's going to say it's not diverse. And then the question that comes to, it's like the two people in my head. One's going well, it's not very diverse. And then the other side of my brain's going but does it need to be? And then I'll have that conversation with myself all afternoon. Because someone might have a viewpoint of how it could be more diverse without breaking the suspension of disbelief about this being a world of Celts and dragons. But as far as dragon decks go, I really like this one. I'm not too big on fantasy decks, dragon decks. What's the other one? Mermaid decks, things like that. An occasional mermaid or merperson or whatever. It's done well. Yeah, it's okay. But I really like the way these fit in my head from books I've read, and the images it gives me looks very similar. So this is the Celtic Dragon Tarot, and it is out of print. I don't hesitate showing out of print decks because, one, I had never seen this deck. I'd probably heard of it, but I don't remember. And so when I see a deck I don't know or haven't seen, and even though it's out of print and I found it, lucky me, woohoo, I like to show it, because who else out there? There may be somebody out there that's really passionate about dragons and has not seen this deck. And now that if you've seen it and know it's out there, you can probably find it. And I have looked online, and there are some copies that are not terribly expensive. I did see one for $150, but it was in mint condition, new. But there are some used ones of these floating around that are not crazy priced, in the hundreds of dollars. So that's that. This one is the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. There goes my phone notification going off. This is by Julia Jeffrey, and the author was Barbara Moore. And this is also published by Lulin. It also did not have a box. It also did not have a book. But it has that same beautiful cardstock. So I don't know if Lulin still uses this particular cardstock, but it's just this beautiful mat. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's not edged, as you can see. I debate whether to edge it or not. This one I actually do like a lot. This one is really right up my alley. I'm going to bump the table here as I get reorganized. And this one's the same. It's in order, but the major arcana is going to be at the back. Okay. I love this Ace of Pentacles. Look at this little guy. He is so cute. the 2. Now this is based sort of on elven lore. And that's another, see, that sort of fantasy elf sort of thing I'm not big on. But this one I like because they don't look, how can I say it? There's some decks that create elven people to look almost skin and bones and anemic. This, look at this deck, this card I love, the 4 of Pentacles, sort of nestled in with Mother looking over them. And so they're not unbelievable, like they are believable characters, because you can tell that they're from another world, another energy, but they are still realistic in character and their expressions. They don't look like they are just waifs of a being. And to me, that gives, they have substance. I guess that's a good way to say it. They have substance. And that I like. Look at this one here. This Page of Pentacles. The hair is almost like these dreadlocks. I'm not going to say dreadlocks completely, but it has that feel to it. And then as they go off, they feed into the background and the cracks in the wall behind and just get absorbed. It's absolutely beautiful. The Knight. Not working with a sword, not riding a horse, but working with the earth and the tools the earth gives. Queen. I love how the colors just, it's just amazing. And the King. Appears to be a granddaughter. The Ace. So, and this 2 of Swords. I've actually thought about this 2 of Swords. This is a deck I can work with, because what is the choice here? Usually 2 of Swords deals with a let me turn that off real quick. I forgot to. It went off a second ago. It usually deals with a choice. So this is where I missed the book for this one, but I kind of like, I'm having to figure this one out without the book. So what does this tell me intuitively? What is her decision? Or is he saying, I am here and I am willing to die for you, so I give my life in your hands? I don't know. It's just, there's a lot that you could do with that card. The 3 of Swords. I like this one. I like it when there's not the heart and the swords, and but it's still the same sentiment, you know. So with the 2 of Swords, though, that we looked at just a second ago, I wonder if there is a folklore tale or a story from long, long ago that it's referencing that I just don't know about. So that'll be something for me to research. Or if you know, let me know in the comments. But these faces on these characters, you know what it reminds me of? I'm not going to... I just did this really quick and I didn't plan it out very well. And that's okay. I like doing it off the cuff. I don't like having a bunch of... Now, I will have notes for my talk I'm going to do on the 2 coming up, because I'm doing the numerology discussions. And my next one will be on the 2. And that will be coming up in the next couple of days. I hope to get this one posted tonight. Today is Tuesday. So hopefully my number 2 video will be up tomorrow at some point. So look for that if you're following my discussion on numerology. Oh, I can't think of the deck, but the artwork reminds me so much of it. Hang on, I'm going to see if I can locate it real quick. I must have traded it. I don't have it. I did a trade not too long ago, and I took about 5 or 6 decks in that I wasn't using, and it was a deck I wasn't going to use. This deck I'll use. There were, not because the artwork wasn't beautiful, but there were just a few. Normally, if there's 1 or 2 cards in it that I don't connect with, I can deal with. This one had like 6 or 8 cards I didn't connect with. And there's nothing wrong with the deck. The deck quality, the publication. It was a U.S. game, so that tells you about the quality. But the artwork style of it, the maybe not the style, but the strokes and the weight of the colors really reminds me of this. And I can't think of the name of it right now. I can see the image on the box. If I think of it or look it up later and find it, I'll put it here. Beautiful too. This is very RWS. There are only a few cards that leave me guessing, like the Two of Swords, as to how to, not guessing, that's the wrong word, but the deeper meaning of it, so to speak. It's more than just choice. More than just, that's beautiful. Look at that. So, yeah, just everything about the artwork in this deck. And, you know, you have a deck like this where everything about the detail, the coloring, the facial expressions, the body proportions, the realism of them, even though they're elvish, but they're not, you know, those waifs look like they're fading away to nothingness. They're weighty, they have substance. But then even the little details like this, like you've got this borderless image, so you've got a nice, good image, and then at the bottom it has this beautiful gold bar for the title, so it's easy to read, and it doesn't have to be very large because of that background. It makes the letters pop. So just so well done. It makes me wonder why a deck like this goes out of print. And I understand that a publisher can only do so many decks at a time, but you have decks that have been in constant publication for years. I mean, did the sale of this deck go down? Did it cycle out? Was the artist's contract only for a certain amount and then the rights reverted back to them? I don't know. That's my question. Well, just because I love it doesn't mean everybody's going to love it. But because I love it, it makes me ask, why did it go out of print? And in the world of business and publication, I know there's a million reasons. And it could be a combination of any half a dozen things. But look at the face. See, this with me, it's like, that almost looks photographic. But this is beautifully done. And I don't have the book, so I'm not sure the medium, and I haven't done the research on that yet. But it could be a mix of paints and pencils, or sketch drawings and then different paints. But it's definitely, but the definition on that face, oh my God, look at that fox. This deck blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. And I'll keep looking, and eventually I'll get my hands on a guidebook, and I can make a box. Oh, let me show you something real quick. I was fooling around with something. I got a shipment the other day, a package, not a very big one, but it was a box, kind of like this, but it was a brown package, and it had the lifts here, but it had the 2 tabs here that insert into the side, and it was just like this perfect size. It is actually kind of this size, and I said, oh well, I'm gonna take that, and I it's one of those you fold up like a packing box, and so I unfolded it and I made this pattern, and so I'm going to use this to make once I get some decent material, to make my own boxes for some of the decks that I don't have boxes for, like these two. So I'll just get some really good cardstock, and I could print some images, or even just hand decorate the outside, whatever I want to do with it. Really, it'll be fun. But then this just goes up, and then there's your lid. And I can just put a little magnet on the top here and there, and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. So that'll be fun. So that's the kind of thing I'm thinking about. I like figuring out things and making things and all that fun stuff. I love doing anything where I can make something myself. 5 of Wands. But I also like shopping. So, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Speaking of sixes, that timing was perfect. 7. Excuse me. And I don't see that. Ooh, look at that fiery red hair. That is awesome. Color. The right moment. The 9, the Phoenix. That's my card. I live in Phoenix. That's how it is. When you wake up in the morning in the summertime here, and the humidity is low, but it's going to be 112 degrees. It's like you walk out your front door, and this is exactly what happens. Your shirt burns off, and you're surrounded by flames, and you feel like you can get eaten alive. But then you say to yourself, it's a dry heat. So, But people that say, I don't know how you live there, or it's just, I don't know how you stand the heat. Well, I can't do the cold. So what happens here is there's about 3 months that we stay in with the air conditioning or in cool waters or travel north for a little bit. But then 9 months out of the year, it's springtime. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. Everything's in bloom. It's beautiful all year round. So, you either stay inside 3 months because of the winter weather and the below freezing temperatures and the snow and the shoveling and the ice, or you stay in 3 months for the heat. But when the humidity is low and the heat's out, that magician is awesome. I did see one comment I did read a few reviews on this deck that they said his mustache, they didn't like his mustache. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a sign of the times, maybe it was the style, I don't know. But he just looks sort of like he's doing his own thing. It didn't bother me, is what I'm saying. I just saw it was mustache until I read that review, and then went back and looked at it. I was like, I don't know. He just looks like he's sort of some sort of art aficionado. Maybe he has a little bit high opinion of himself, or he just likes being stylish, or whatever. I don't know. But I didn't think about it until I saw the review. I just thought, like, oh, cool mustache. Look at the lovers. This is a beautiful card too. It's almost like the forest, the forest and Mother Nature. Kernunos and Gaia, maybe something like that. My faithful companion here. So, and she's over here too. So, no, she's on the other. She's on the other table. I have Gaia and Kernunos separated right now, but not in spirit, just in body. They're just doing 2 different jobs right now, but they'll get back together. And so this Wheel of Fortune, the Fortune Fairy, even though it says fairy, it doesn't look very, it's not your typical fairy. Now, she may very well be a fairy, but she just looks like a child of the forest, right? And she's going to blow the seeds off, and they're going to land where they may. Some will take, some won't. It's that whole chance of life. It's well done. I would not want to run into her as my look at the feather. The weight of the feather, the weight of the soul. That's a good reference there. I like that. I have looked at these cards. I just didn't. I'm still seeing things because you see the artwork is so intricate behind. The Hangman, he's not. We don't really see him tied up in any way. But he's sort of one with this vining behind him. Growing from it, maybe. Death. Beautiful Temperance in the water with the reeds and the waterfall behind her and dragonflies. Shadow Dance. Tempted into temptation, to dance instead of taking care of responsibilities. So, got a notice there. All right. The Blasted Beach. Looks like they're caught in some sort of rock slide, as opposed to falling out of a tower window. I really like that natural approach to it. The star. Just beautiful. That moon card is powerful. The sun. How much nicer is this and the sun here than the naked baby on the horse, so to speak? There's some really beautiful sun cards out there, and this is one of them. Have to be up there with one of my favorite sun cards. Life Renewed. And you can see there is a sprout of an oak coming out of the acorn. And it looks like she's going to help it and guard it and help it to grow in the world. Okay, so that is Tarot of the Hidden Realms. If anyone knows why this one went out of print, please let me know in the comments down here. And I would really like to know that. But anyway, that's it for today. Just 2 decks, a walkthrough, and a little bit about where I live and how I have been fortunate enough to find these decks just because of the populace and the support we have for the shops around us. So have a great afternoon, evening, night, morning, wherever you are, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.